Do you know what is the worst thing for mechanics when it comes to cars? Not the bad car designs or everything else. Working on your own car that you bought new and hoping to not have problems, because we spend the entire day working on folks' cars. The last thing I want to do at the end of the day is work on my own car. Especially one that is technically new and still has a warranty. That's the best part. This is my 2023 Lexus GX460, the good one, right? So, last oil change. Nothing that has 20,000 miles. Very happy with it. Would love the car. Last oil change. Lift the car, drain the oil, go check the brakes. There's a massive oil leak from the transfer case. Of course. Had to be this one. And it was a little bit of a kind of thinking. Okay, this car has a warranty. I can call the dealership, which we worked with them, we bought the truck from them. They'll warranty it, no problem, and I don't have to do a thing. But we've tried that before. When the truck was leaning, we had to replace a spring. It's not a pleasant experience. I just don't like it. We have an entire facility fully capable of doing this stuff. And especially when what it takes to repair it is a little seal, couple drain plug gaskets, and a few hours of my time. Now, we're not talking about replacing an engine here. Yeah, it is a little bit involved. Pull the transfer case out. So I decided we're going to do it ourselves. So, Lexus, if you're watching, you can void the warranty on that seal, because we warranty it from now on. It's like some people say, I am the warranty. So, not happy about this. I'm going to talk about it, because I'm starting to see a lot of these do this. So, let's lift it up, show you the leak, and then we'll get it fixed. Okay, let's take a look. Not happy with this. If you come around and look, we did wipe it down once. This is all wet. You might not see it super clear, but if you look all the way up here, that's where it's originating from. And if you turn around and look here, it's actually, this is not undercoating, this is oil leak. Not happy. And we just cleaned it and it's already wet again. Yeah. Let's just say one thing. The lean, I get it. Got to replace one shock, although I don't get it because they knew about this problem from day one. This is becoming a common problem with this in the 5th Gen 4Runner. Same problem. And then the other thing is, this has 20,000 miles. Granted, almost 100% of the miles of this car is city. So, these tires are not doing well. I'm actually going to have to replace them this winter because first, they have heavy feathered edges. Alignment is fine. And then, what's up with this? I don't know. It's just not so good tires. Dunlop tires. Dunlop used to be really good. Lately, I'm seeing a lot of this in Dunlop tires. So, here's the problem. We got a seal between the transmission and the transfer case on the transfer case side. Then we got another seal on the transmission side. Transmission side seal is fine. Transfer case side is leaking. So we're going to separate the transfer case from the transmission, pull it out of the car completely, change the seal, reinstall it. Sounds a lot more complicated than it is. Actually, not a terrible job. I don't know about DIY. I mean, if you have a lift, it makes it a lot easier, but yeah, that's what we got to do. Now I'm debating, and I think I'm going to end that debate early, about the exhaust. I think we're going to pull the exhaust out because it's a newer car. The rest is already starting. It's a newer car. We can pull the exhaust, get it out of the doorway so we can work freely, at least this pipe. So yeah, let's get to it. Let's bring our tools close. Okay, first thing we're going to do is drain the transfer case. This is a 24 mil for the fill and the drain. Once more, thank you very much, Lexus. I'm actually, at some point in this video, I haven't looked it up yet. I'm going to look up the build date of this car, just to discover, is this a Friday car or a Monday car? Is that 2 days that, yeah, of course, that's a joke, folks. That's not how this works anymore, but, you know. Fluid, I'm hoping it's clean. Better be clean. It's 20,000 miles. Unless Mrs. Karkiranat, yeah, it's clean. Unless Mrs. Karkiranat has been off-roading with this without us knowing. Although we would know. Because I don't see mud. Car looks good. I'm just gonna install the fill so we don't have to worry about it in case this tips. So what do we do? What do we do? I mean, technically I can pull it out without removing the exhaust. What do you say, Jose? Should we do it the lazy way or the not lazy way? You know what? I'm going to regret this later. I'm just going to remove the exhaust. I don't feel like we're already kind of, I don't want to say doom and gloom, but, you know, not a great situation. Not much we can do about that other than fix it and move on with life. And uh-oh. I have a feeling that is not going to happen. We're just going to give it one more try. That's not bad. Good with that. Another one, if I cannot reach, I'm just going to loosen it first. Get to it. Okay. Why aren't you coming out? Oh, you're gonna give us a fight. We have to remove the second one? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Okay, now this is becoming more than I wanted to feel. Let's just remove the other one. At this point, might as well remove both and be done. Now it decided to come out. How about that? I forgot something. This little shield has to come out. Is that a 10 or a 12? I forgot. That's a 10. Not a 10 and not a 12? 11? That doesn't exist. Well. It's a 12. You can tell, I hope this video is not too doom and gloom because I'm not very happy with this. Okay, now are you gonna work with us? Gonna be nice. Be very nice. Yes, maybe I should have done that the other way. Even better. This way. There we go. At this point, I'm gonna just remove this pipe. I already have it loose. Might as well. Okay, well, that's out of the way. Now let's remove our drive shafts. I'm gonna make the factory markings. Could still be here. No, they're not. Let's make our own marks. I'm gonna use a crayon to put some marks here. Just to know how to install this. Although this is technically not an older car, the idea is if you have any imperfections in the surface, you want the same surface to sit, so yeah, the good stuff. Okay, haven't even started. You know, this impact, I think, have seen enough action because I'm noticing it's becoming very not strong. It used to be a lot stronger than this. I don't think that's gonna happen. Yes, it's not gonna happen. So, we're gonna upgrade. To this. Now the other side. Okay. Okay, there's the drive shaft. Now we got to remove the front one. It's basically the same thing. Hey, it's a front wheel drive car right now. Yeah, we actually cleaned this probably 4 or 5 days ago. When we discovered it, it's already wet again. Usually when you separate this, it'll just come raining down. So yeah, let's just get it done and over with. Because this car is rudely interrupting us from doing that right now. This is it's not an evaporator job, that's a servo motor, notorious on these, on that generation RX 350, 2011 and up. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. So, I'm going to try something. See if this works. Yeah, that should work. Let's remove this cover. You can make room. So if you guys haven't seen that video, when we undercoated this truck, I purposefully did not undercoat these because I knew we were gonna, remove them for service, and I didn't want to get the undercoating all over the place. So, plus these are replaceable. If they ever rust in the future, we can easily replace them. One thing we did not do, I think I remembered. We did not mark this. I don't think we did. No, we did not. The reason this doesn't want to compress is we just greased these. Yep. So, thinking, what if we pull the grease fitting or open it up somehow? Yeah, there it is. We literally just greased these. That's why I can't compress it. I'm like, am I losing my marbles here, or this thing doesn't want to compress? Still, I'm gonna take that out and probably make a mess. There we go. Let's see if that works. Oh, okay. I was not expecting that to do that. That's okay. There goes all the grease we just put on like a few days ago. That's okay. That's okay. I always got more grease. Because that's how you normally want these. You might want to wipe down this grease because it's going to go everywhere if we step in it. All right. Now what do we got? So now I'm gonna remove the transmission mount and this entire bar. So we're gonna bring the transmission down a little bit so we can reach all the bolts at the top and everything. Loosen these. Like, oh, this one is not doing anything. There it is. So we're going to support our transmission and then pull this bar with the mounts. At least that's the plan. There's. And oh, we got more grease here. Of course, this grease goes everywhere. Okay, what I'm doing is a terrible idea. I'm gonna take the other two bolts because this is gonna come flying down. Okay. Here's that. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. There's a wire harness, all kinds of good stuff at the top. That one. There's this ground. Let's get the ground out of the way. Now we deal with this. Force will give us a hard time. I'm gonna pop the whole thing, or just gonna do this. There it is. And there's one more all the way in the back. Here's the wire that we're going to tuck it away. This is just for the actuator. Never mind. You can stay there. It's not going to stay. There it is. Now we got this vacuum hose. Just right here. Oh, actually, we didn't have to remove that. It's going to stay. Aren't these connected in the front? I'm just going to leave it. We'll do it. I think we are. These are. That was not the vacuum hose I was supposed to disconnect. It's this one. It's just the one. That's why I'm like, I know there's a vacuum hose, but for the vent, we got to disconnect. It's not that one. Maybe I will reattach this one. Okay, so basically all we got left is the bolts for the transfer case, which are these, this, and all around. So we are, here's how this transmission and transfer case is constructed. You got the transmission, you got the extension or tail housing or however you want to call it. This is the only difference. Well, the GX doesn't have that, but if you have like a 4Runner, you have a 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, the transmission may be the same, but this piece will be different. If it's a rear-wheel drive, it'll just have like a tail piece that just connects to the rear drive shaft. If you have a transfer case, you have a transfer case adapter, so this would bolt onto it. So we're not removing the adapter, we're just removing the transfer case. So with or without further ado, let's get our support set up here, and we'll take the bolts. Although I think we can possibly take some of the top bolts out before we do that. You can have access to them. I mean, sufficient bolts to hold it, but this is such an awkward thing. So we're going to put a trans jack here, put a block of wood to support it on the side, and yeah, we're about to arrive at the halfway point. Not too bad. Not too bad once you've done like many of these, because we're starting to see a lot of 5th Gen 4Runners do this as well. So there's really only 2 bolts at the very top, and I'm going to take out, find them. I think, if I'm not mistaken, one of them has a bracket. I think it's this one. Is it? Yes. It's kind of a strange angle. Maybe I don't need this extension. Yeah, it's better. Well, let's see if the Milwaukee gun can do this. Lately, oh yeah, that's not bad. See, this one has a bracket. This one has a little bracket for the wire. And then the other one, somewhere here. Yeah, it's that one. This one's actually accessible. It's not bad. I'm going to basically take the very top one and the very bottom ones, because these are going to be in the way. Fortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to contain the leak, because usually when you pull this, it'll literally, this cavity right here will be full of gear oil and it'll just leak out. So I'm going to try to minimize the mess, kind of prepare for it, because I've seen this a lot. I'm going to put some mats here, absorbent mats. Let's see if we can pick it up. You get the trans jack. Okay, let's see what we got here. I think it's time to move my tool cart out of the way. Okay. Of course, this trans jack in its most down position, so this is gonna take a while. So So I'm gonna put a small piece of wood here, a little bit bigger piece of wood here. This is just to support the sides because it's kind of an odd transfer case shape. And so we ran into a small, tiny, teeny problem. My jack is maxed out because we are filming all happy, and we forgot that this jack, we need to have the car a little bit lower. But I think we should be okay. Just gonna prepare it a little bit better. Just trying to balance it on the jack. Just like that. I think that is good. Yeah, I think I like that better. I like that. I'm not gonna take risks. We're gonna do something. Some of these jacks come with this strap. Never works well. I'm just gonna use our own ratchet strap, but okay, this one is a short one. So let's see. How are we gonna hook this up? I'm gonna hook it in a way where it's like secure. Okay, this would work. Just in case anything slips, transfer case wouldn't go flying to the ground. That would be a problem. This is just a secondary safety in case. All right, I think we've got our little contraption set up here. Let's remove the rest of our bolts and watch the rainfall. Not sure there's gonna be a rainfall. We're gonna find out. Usually there is. Oops, wrong bolt. Yeah, see, it's separating. And there's no rainfall, so that's good. No rainfall, because if you see it right here, it's actually open, which means this leak is not as big as we initially anticipated. There it is. Oop. That's good. Yes, that's much better. There it is. Turn it around so you can see it. So that little bit, few drips that came out, that's actually transmission fluid. But the seal that is leaking is this one. That's, see, that's all wet. You got some fluid all over the place. But, well, we're here. Let's replace our seal. I think we actually caught it right on time, which is nice. The other seal in the transmission should be fine because we're not leaking transmission fluid. So let's see if this seal wants to cooperate. I actually got a new tool for seals. Let's see if that works for this one. Let's see if this works. This is gonna break, so I'm just gonna go to my old school way. You're a new seal. You're supposed to come right out, not fight us. Oh wow, this thing. There it is. Well, that's all it is. This little seal is what's. See, that's the only fluid we had. This is definitely gear oil. That is not transmission. I guess because we were at the angle we were at, it didn't come out. So that little bit has built up. Actually, and yeah, it's here. Some of this is transmission fluid, but yeah, well, could be worse, could be better, could be worse. Clean all this. We're gonna keep having phantom leaks, thinking it's leaking again, but it's just a residual. This leak usually builds up in the housing, and it takes it a long time to manifest. And I just did something. Took the same rag that we cleaned the grease with. That's not good. See, you can tell it's not. I mean, I'm gonna stop right here, and we're gonna make a pledge because I'm usually not a negative person. Could be worse. Let's fix it. Just be happy. I'm happy because we're in the halfway point. Everything's going smoothly. It's a new car, and usually things do go smoothly with newer cars. It would be ideal if they didn't leak, but staying positive. Okay, let's go bring our, I want to say it's $15 maybe, something like that. $10 to $15 seal. Here's the seal, in case you're following this DIY. Here's the seal number. Always double check these because they are, yeah. This fluid is so clean. I'm actually thinking I cleaned it, but I didn't. So how about we do this before we put the seal? That's the thing. Might not appear like it's leaking, it's all wet. And the fluid is clean and this area is clean because this car is new. Shouldn't have problems like that. It's all covered. Okay, I think that's better. So before we put this back and put the seal, this is actually connected to the output shaft. And then this is where the chain is for the transfer case. This is how it transfers power here and does the low range. That just splines at the end of the transmission. So if you had a rear-wheel drive, your flange, or one that looks like this, will just spline directly into that, and you don't have this housing. That's how that works. But make sure we got everything here, because I don't want to drive this a week later and I see a leak again and it's just the fluid sitting here. All right, well, I think it's time we install the new seal. Put a little bit of grease around it to help with the install. Before we install though, whenever you install a seal, look at the surface that it's sitting on. This one looks pretty clean and even. If you have any groove or something, you might want to think about this, because the seal rides on this surface, and if the surface is not smooth, well, the seal will leak again. This one is good. This is gonna give us, I don't want to call it a fight, but usually they're interesting. Now, some folks will disagree with the method we use to install seals. That's okay. Jose was just asking me. We have these nice 3D printed tools that our buddy Luke does from all 3D printing, but you can't teach an old dog new tricks, I guess, because I've always installed seals like this, never had a problem, and hard to change stuff that works. Simple. Actually have very good control over exactly where things go. There we go. That's it. All this job for this tiny little seal, which is, it's not a terrible leak, but we did have a small puddle in the garage. I actually didn't notice it because I leave in the morning, come at night. When I leave in the morning, we leave at the same time, or different times, but I don't go checking in under the car because I have a new car. And then when we come back at night, usually Mrs. Carcarian comes home first, take care of the kids, then I come home. So never see underneath it until we saw this and oil change. And I go, look, yeah, there's definitely a little puddle underneath it. Well, let's say it one more time, shall we, Jose? Installation is a reverse order of removal, nothing major. Well, actually, I mean, technically it is. When they say that in the manual, they are right. It is technically correct, but just not quite. Let's just put it this way. So, yeah, let's do this. Few pitfalls on this job. I'm just going to say them right now in case you're doing it. When you lift this, it's very common to hit this here and damage it because this is plastic. Remember that part. Second, if you're replacing the transfer case, make sure these dowel pins are on either side. So let's say this is a GX460, by the way, they're very similar to in how you remove the transfer case. This was all rusty, and when you pulled the transfer case, this came with it. The dowel pin stayed here. Then you go get a new transfer case, or a new transmission, for example, and the transmission has the dowel pin, well, now you can't install. This is the stuff you want to watch for when you're replacing components. When you're using the same stuff, not as much, but we're going to be careful with our actuator here. Just get it a little bit closer. And then you want to watch when you install the transfer case. So where I'm standing, where you guys are standing too, you see how the seal is? You do not want to hit that seal because you're going to actually spline into that seal. So you want to go slowly, just kind of carefully, trying not to hit that seal because the leak you just fixed, you may create another one. Just kind of. There it is. Almost. What do we have to do? We gotta. And we're stuck on the dowel pins. Or that line up. What you do in this case, try to use some of the bolts as a guide. See, right, this one doesn't want to start. That means this side is too high. We're not going to use the bolt to pull it in. We're just going to use the bolt as a guide. So we're just going to start it so it would guide us in straight as we push. See now, This side is low. Technically be aligned right now. There it is. See how I use the bolts as a guide? We're not gonna like use the bolts to pull it in. You never want to do that. So I put this bolt because the transfer case was sitting this way, like a little bit tilted this way, and you can't kind of align it by eyesight. You need a guide. So when you turn it this way, the whole thing will pivot, and now you can't find your exact spot. Put one bolt in, just start it, then turn it. This one will actually keep this side location on while you pivot it on the bolt, and then it goes right in. So it's in, we're good. Okay, now that we got that done, let's take our strap, we'll get some of the stuff at the top. And don't be alarmed, what's holding the transfer case right now is the trans jack. That's not the trans jack, sorry, the other one. So there we go. Now this one is loose. No, it's still good. Well, gotta install our wire harness, which goes right there. This one here. So here's the best part about the manuals. You know, remember we said installation is reverse order of removal. The repair manual, step 1, remove transmission with transfer case assembly. Step 2, remove the transfer case. You don't actually need to do that. Because I'm thinking, although it doesn't even make sense, why they want you to do that is this. Well, okay, well, you can't pull the transfer case out with the thing in the way. Well, don't you have to pull the whole thing back as well? So they give you a cutout. If you're just careful with the seals, obviously you can do this in the car. You don't need to remove the whole transmission and everything. This is not a bad job. However, this is a job that can go south if you're not careful, because the seal on the transmission side is the one we really got to watch for. So now, because my jack doesn't go that high, actually I got one more ground here, forgot. Okay, everything else is connected and ready. I think we're gonna go up with it, bring this down. So this is the setup we used, just 2x4 and a 4x4. Should work perfectly fine. You just gotta find a way to support it because it's such an odd shape and you're at an angle. You want to support it because if you put it just here, as soon as you separate, this front will just droop down. So you want to support the front. And then if you support the front and pull it, this is just going to go like this and destroy your seal. That's why we kind of supported it from rotating or pivoting one way or another before we removed it. I am going to take this perfect opportunity right now to clean all this mess because we have no mount, no nothing. So I'm gonna make a mess. I mean, maybe I got an oil drain. We don't need to make a mess. Well, let's hope that's all we got, because it's rare but possible that we have other leaks, like the housing or something is wrong with that sealing point, although I don't see it, but it leaking at this early is always cause for concern. But we cleaned it pretty good. I think The next few hundred miles will be a good judge, although this leak, when it's small, takes a while to manifest because remember, it has to leak inside, and this is not a sealed surface, but it's two machine surfaces against each other. It's gonna take a while for it to actually go through this and leak out, so we'll find out. We'll find out. Definitely gonna keep an eye on it. Probably drive it a few hundred miles and double check it. And it's not undercoating because we are going to undercoat this car again, like touch it up soon, and that hasn't happened yet. So stay. That's not gonna stay. I know it's not gonna stay. As soon as I walk away, it's gonna jump. Now we're good. So I'm gonna lower the transmission, tighten the bolts for the mount. This is a strange thing, and I see this a lot. When these are not sitting on the bolts, I mean, you'd think that, you know, the weight of this down on the bolts, and that's what's holding it. I see it a lot from the factory that it's not. If you work in the factory of these cars, how do you guys assemble these? Because this doesn't even make sense. It almost feels like it was lifted like this, and then we tighten the bolts and just let it kind of hover. I don't like that. That's why we have the bolt. So basically, the tension of the bolt on this bracket is what's holding it, not the actual strength of the bolt. If you see this is actually sitting like that. And this doesn't make sense to me, but I'm debating. What do you say, Jose? Should we put it like they have it in the factory, or should we just rest it down? I'm thinking, although I was just about to say they're the factory, they know what they're doing. Why is my seal leaking then? So let's do it the factory way. Why not? So I'm gonna close. This one didn't turn as close. I don't like this. This is like, doesn't even make sense. There you go. That is much better. There we go. It's, as we like to say, it's a car again. You can lower it, not drive it, but it's a car again. I think all we got left is the drive shafts and the exhaust. We'll fill this up and it's ready. Let's do that. Here's. Now, where's our mark on this one? So, right at the top. Good. I'm gonna have to grease the shaft again because now it's empty. I'm going back and forth too much. There goes Jose's light. Actually, that is these are really nice lights from Snap-on. Yeah, I use them for working on cars, but we also use them for filming because they're actually really nice. Let's talk about something that is important, that is the number one asked question in the shop and the number one problem causer in the shop. Retorquing your drive shafts. Folks, I'm just going to say one thing. In my entire career, I've never seen one of them back out. That's because folks sometimes will ask, they're part of like a K service back at the dealership. But here's the problem. Folks will come to the shop, oh, my manual says retorque my drive shaft at this mileage. Yes, there's a charge for that. Well, why is there a charge? It's just bolts that you're checking. Folks, because there is 8 and 8 bolts with the exhaust in the way. There is a little bit of labor involved to really get to them and check them accurately. Majority of them are going to be 65, but hopefully this one cooperates. So you have to do this many more times, 15 more times technically. So if your mechanic charges for this, try to do it yourself on the ground and you will know why they charge for it. Because yes, we are just checking a nut and torquing it, but they're kind of awkward to do because there's no way to hold them properly to torque them. So heads up for that. So we're not going to bore you by watching us do all this. We're going to cut straight into the exhaust because basically I'm going to repeat this 15 more times. Let's get the exhaust on. Come on. Begin us a fight. There it is. Where did you start? Okay, that concludes the exhaust. We are running out of parts. So, sealed. Let's start. And last but not least, this little cover, which would have been much easier to install, and we had the exhaust out. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to fill the transfer case. And while we are here, although this car is not due for it yet, since we're going to do the transfer case fluid, we're actually going to do the differentials as well while we are here. Because I actually forgot something. Forgot the braces. These braces that are normally on rusty cars, they're the first thing that goes. The bolts, the nuts on the inside of the frame just disintegrate. Now it's official. Let's get the transfer case filled. So the debate on the transfer case fluid is just endless. These cars take straight 75 weight in the transfer case. And if you go buy that fluid from Toyota, it is like ridiculously expensive. So this is what we're putting right now, is 75, 85, I'm sorry, 75, 90. For you to, in case you're wondering, they put that for fuel economy, 75 weight. So instead of getting, for the case of the GX, instead of getting 12 miles to the gallon, you'll get 12.1. So the fluid from Toyota is like mega expensive. So it's really your call if you want to spend the extra money and get that 0.1 miles per gallon back or not. Just wanted to clarify that. This one is gonna go. Come on, you can do it. You did all this, and get stuck on the fill plug. Well, let's hope the leaks now are behind us and we don't have to have anything else, because like I told you, with new cars or newer cars, it's always a question mark that remains in your back. Is something else leaking? And it's so difficult with leaks like this. This one we caught pretty early. Usually they may make a much larger mess before folks notice them, or they come up for an oil change or something, and then they're informed. And the problem is, if you take it for a place that doesn't check and they don't notice it, it just keeps leaking and leaking and leaking, and the transfer case is super low on fluid. That's not good. We caught this one very early. I think it literally just started, which is good. I don't like leaks. That's one thing about me. I don't like cars that leak. Any of my cars that have leaks, I usually fix them right away, 'cause I don't like leaks. This is pretty typical, and this is why, see all this, I hope you can see it clearly, it's pretty dark, and pull the drain, you'll see it, and the fluid will not be clean. I want you to capture it because the fluid likely will be a little bit on the darker side. Yep. If you see that, folks, don't be alarmed. That is actually normal for these on the first replacement. Like, you look at the magnet here, it has all kinds of stuff. That's why the first replacement, folks, 30,000 on these. Next replacements, if you don't tow, you can go 50,000 if you don't tow or off-road heavy, but 30,000. This is definitely a DIY job. If you can do an oil change, this is easier. Always clean these magnets and plugs. Always replace the gaskets. This gets a new gasket. This is a big copper washer, and then the other one gets the crush. Probably gonna end up replacing them again to 30. Probably. This is, I guess I gotta say, although this car is not, I don't want to say it's not behaving well, but you kind of have some problems. This is probably one of the most over-maintained cars ever. I will not put my kids and wife in a car that needs anything. That's just my personal philosophy. So this is the one car we never skip on its maintenance. Although the only car I own that is actually neglected is that one right there. That's We're working on it. Working to change that. If you look behind you, Jose, that's the engine for that car. Almost done with it. See, I don't know if the episode already came out when we're filming this one or not. Hope that statement makes sense. So I am thinking when we go to the rear differential, that's when things will be, the fluid will not be clean at all. That's pretty typical on the first replacement. So don't be alarmed if you see that on your car. That is normal. You saw this one. This was not exactly clean. It's not even due yet. But that's normal, folks, especially the first replacement. Subsequent replacements, not so much, but the first one definitely, yes. Okay, let's do the rear one. Forgot to say the sizes. Transfer case is a 24 mil to take the drain and the fill. The front one is a 10 millimeter hex. This one is also a 24. Simple. They're all the same. This is the same for 90%, well, actually more than that, of Toyota trucks. Well, let me drain this. Look how dark this is. This is pretty typical. The first replacement. This fluid will not be clean, and this magnet will be filled. Yeah, that fluid does not look good. That's normal. So I'm saying this just so you're not alarmed if you're replacing your fluid in your car for the first time and you see it like this. This is pretty typical. Because this magnet is also filled with stuff. That is normal. Now what is not normal is this gasket that's completely stuck here. There it goes. I'm gonna give this magnet a clean. There we go. And the other one. Running out of brake clean. Good. Always put the magnet one at the bottom. If you own one of these trucks and you DIY stuff, this is definitely on your radar. Very simple. The only thing that kind of sort of is a little bit not as simple as we were showing it here is pumping the fluid in. Now, some companies have made like pouches where you can do that, or you can get yourself a little like hand pump or something. That would probably be the only thing. And the other thing is, if you've never worked with gear oil, once you get gear oil on your body, it's gonna take a while for you to smell normal again. That's just how it is. Gear oil has a very strong smell. And if you use certain brands, really strong, like, what is it, Redline, I think? Very good stuff. What we're using here is Amsoil. Redline, very good stuff, but it's really, really strong on the smell. There it is. So the way we do this in the shop, just in case you're curious, this is the stuff we use. So 7590 full synthetic. This stuff does have like a friction modifier. If you have like a limited slip differential, the same stuff works. You can put that in non-limited slip differentials. It's not going to cause any issues. So we have a 55-gallon drum that we buy from Amsoil that has a pump on it. And we have this rolling cart with a 5-gallon jug. We fill this when it runs out and we just roll it to the car. It's much easier that way. Because getting bottles for that we tried, I usually like bottles. That is very messy because this is not like oil where you can funnel and pour it in. This is a little bit more complicated than that. So I don't want to go too strong because we're kind of wiping away our coating here. I can technically add to it. We are coming up on a full like touch up. My good friend will take care of it, so I'm not too worried about it. Just don't want stuff dripping. That's the most important thing. So, okay. Well, how about that? I think it's official that this job is done. I've just inspected this car, so we shouldn't have much else going on with it, but it's doing pretty good. I don't have any complaints other than that leak was kind of interesting. But Mrs. Karen actually, because she works with us in the shop and sees, you know, everything from good news to bad news to customers, so she's always on my case about, let's get the maintenance done. What does the GX need? Why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? There's a point where you don't want to overdo it. Although we sometimes do overdo it with this. But we haven't done anything with the transmission, hasn't done anything with the coolant yet. Coolant, I'm going to do it at 5 years because I don't know if we're going to get to the point where we put 50,000 miles because it's already, we're getting there in age. But there's going to be a point where we're going to do everything because Mrs. Karen really takes care of her stuff. And this is really a car that means a lot to her. This is actually our first new Lexus ever. So really love this car. The only thing missing, I forgot. Got a cover here, but you'll see. I'll try to film any big maintenance that we do on this car, just as a DIY stuff, and you guys can track it because when we bought this car, you're all part of that journey, and kind of keep you updated on it. I am. We did have something. Somebody crashed into the rear bumper again, twice. And the best part is it's the same intersection. What's the deal? Why? But literally, Mrs. Karen has stopped at a traffic light, minding her own business. Somebody is just completely crashes into the car. That has happened now twice. Same place. And we joked about this. Are we not gonna go through that intersection again? But such is life. So let's lower it down and actually show you that rear bumper because it's not doing well. Not doing well, and I'm debating. Are we gonna take it? Like you could see it here. There's this thing, this sensor. No, while we are here, the sensor is right there. I can maybe reach it and push it out. I think we're gonna have to replace it. Yeah, I think the sensor is damaged. You know what? We're here. You guys are down. Let's fix it with Mrs. Karen because that really bothers her more than the ding. Because I am debating. This is something so minor. Do we take it to a body shop and get the whole bumper painted and the whole works? Is it worth it? That's such a small thing, but it's one of those moments, you know. Oh, there it is. Is that better? Much better. Other sensor is good. There we go. Although this is the second time I do this to that sensor, so I think if we do end up doing something with this, we'll possibly have to replace that sensor, or at least the brackets for it. But yeah, I'm debating. I mean, this is something minor. We're not going to go painting the whole bumper and risk things not matching, although body shop we're using right now, they're really good, but just, I don't know. Is it really worth it? In the end, it is a daily driver. This is like a plastic panel, so it doesn't rust. So I'm not worried about that part. But I don't know. This is a debate. This is a debate for me, definitely. And that is one job done. So now you know why mechanics don't like working on their own cars, especially they're driving one now. If this was some, weekend warrior car, whatnot, that's a different story. I enjoy working on cars. This did go pretty smoothly, and I really appreciate that fact because it's a newer car. Things came apart easily and went back together well. So this was a pretty smooth job. But I do want to say one thing. In case you do have this issue, because we're seeing this with GX470s, 460s, 4Runners, even Sequoias. I haven't seen a Tundra yet, but I've heard reports of them. So this is pretty common. Not something that is detrimental or you gotta be right on it, but check the transfer case fluid because you may see a smaller leak on the outside, then you pull it apart, it just gushes all kinds of fluid. So be careful with that. Just check the transfer case fluid level. But I think Mrs. Car Karen will be happy. Car is fixed. Technically, it was not a big thing, but we got it done. Folks, I hope this video is helpful and informative. I hope you're learning something new. If you like it, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing to the channel. Check out some of my other videos. Until the next video, folks, may the Lord bless you and keep you, and you have yourself a wonderful day.